Hi, everybody. Welcome to our one day late Halloween episode. It's still Halloween weekend. You can get a little spooky with it. Spooky content warning. The Monkees may be a spooky children's show from the 60s, but the Monkees Pod is a creepy adult show from 2025. That makes it sound like it's a show for creepy adults. Well, enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome back to the Monkees Pod, a Monkees recap podcast. I'm Sommer.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Lukas.
Yes, that's right. Our second special guest, my best friend from high school and also my whole life forever and ever, Lukas. Now, Lukas, tell us, what is your experience with the Monkees?
My experience with the Monkees is when you want to talk to me about the Monkees and then I listen to you.
It was 6 months ago. This bitch became obsessed with these 4 white loser twinks from 60 years ago who you don't care at all about, is what happened. I text Lukas about the Monkees multiple times a day. But truly, you're about to see, we have a shared brain connection of wonderful comedy that is going to enhance this podcast. And also we haven't had like the perspective of a person who's never seen the show before on yet. So
but he has seen this show.
He has. Now he's I also made you watch Monkees on the Line that one time.
Yes. You also made me watch Head.
Okay, well, making you watch, I thought you liked Head, for real. I thought that would be more of like your thing.
I think the wording making me watch Head sounds a little pointed.
Yeah. You liked Head.
I have to watch Head. I liked Head, yeah.
Yeah. So this week, the episode we are covering is Season 1, Episode 14, Dance, Monkee Dance. And the historical background that I've chosen for the premise this time is going to be a little bit about kind of dance crazes and novelty songs of the 1960s. And in particular, one very special song. First, I want to get into the fact that there was a short period between when Elvis was drafted and when the Beatles came to America where music just like it got real funky for a minute, and everything was just like the weirdest novelty songs ever. It was like the one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eater,
yes.
And like
Polka Dot Bikini.
Yeah, and the Funny Farm, whatever you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, I don't know what was going on. I believe this episode, it will be released a little bit late, so this isn't entirely seasonally appropriate anymore, but right now it's about a week before Halloween. So we're going to do a quick little lyrical analysis of the Monster Mash.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
When do you know when the Monster Mash came out?
Monster Mash came out in 1962.
Okay.
So in that brief period where music was just kind of left to the chaos gods. So the Monster Mash, it was produced by this guy who went by Boris something. I should have looked this up. All I have in my document are the lyrics. But basically he was like, I have a really good Boris Karloff impression. You have one, sure. You have A. And he decided, I'm gonna make the spookiest song based on. Now, my lyrical analysis of the Monster Mash is mostly hinged on the fact that people are like, the Monster Mash is a dance. It's not a song. We've never heard the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash is a song about the dance. And apparently the Monster Mash, the way that you're supposed to do it, though they don't tell you in the song, which would be helpful, it's the mashed potato, but you put your arms out like a Frankenstein. What is the mashed potato? Because I've heard of that.
No, I've heard of it. I don't know what the mashed potato is, but have you seen the Peanuts Halloween special? Oh, no. Well, you have seen.
Oh, yeah, I've seen all of them.
But it's not in that. I'm sorry. In the Christmas special, two of the two twins.
In the little loop animation, 3 frames.
Maybe they're doing the Monster Mash.
They could be. Because dances were very, like, prescribed, and, like, this is how you do the dance. Like, and I feel like society goes through phases with that. Like, there was a bunch of, like, corny, like, party songs in the 90s that were, like the cha-cha slide.
Yeah.
And
we're, like, doing that now
with TikTok
like,
dances.
TikTok, yeah.
Yeah. Everything.
Well, we had them in the 80s, too, like the Macarena, and There were, it was like the beginning of the group dance.
Yeah. The narrative of the Monster Mash comes from Boris himself. He says, I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. So the monster is here. He is doing the monster mash, and it was a graveyard smash. So it was a very popular dance, which caught on in a flash because it was a very popular dance.
From a flash of lightning.
Oh, from my laboratory in the Castle East to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. I guess they eat people, so
no, they drink the blood
in the bedroom.
Yeah,
when you're asleep.
When you're asleep.
Okay, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. Makes sense. It makes sense. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. Is Dracula's son a real character?
Alucard, right?
That's like from a video.
That's from a video game. That's from Castlevania.
That's from Castlevania.
That's from Castlevania.
I would imagine that at some point in time they had the son of Dracula.
Probably.
As a movie.
So Alucard from Castlevania was there.
Mm-hmm.
The scene was rocking, all were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive. With their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5. The idea of having a vocal group is so, like, 60s. The Crypt Kicker 5 may be a parody on the Dave Clark 5, who were another knockoff Beatles who were not as popular and successful as the Monkees. And now here's the verse that really troubles me and why I wanted to do this whole lyrical analysis. Out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. It seems like he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, whatever happened to my Transylvania twist? It's now the mash, it's now the monster mash. So Dracula invented a dance which has been overtaken by the monster mash.
Yes.
And he is upset about this. Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist? But then it says, now everything's cool, Drax a part of the band.
Okay.
So I guess after witnessing the monster mash for just a little bit, he decided that everything was cool.
Or maybe they just let him in because he was getting angry about the Transylvania twist.
He realized he'd make more money with the monster mash than from promoting his Transylvania twist. He's like, might as well.
Yeah, he sold out to join the popular mash. Now, the man who wrote this song, he had this one-hit wonder with Monster Mash. And instead of expanding out, he proceeded to make Monster Mashes for other holidays. And you can look these up on your own time. This is all coming out of my memory. I don't have the research on this open, but I know he has like a Thanksgiving one. And it's the same thing. He's still doing the Boris Karloff voice.
Okay.
I think it's time to get into the episode. Yes. Monster Mash Wahoo. So this one was directed by James Frawley as normal. The writer this time is Bernie Orenstein. And we'll get to the stars as we get to them. I found this week, there's a guy who comments on IMDb on every episode of The Monkees telling you when in the order it was shot versus when it was aired. Mm-hmm. So that's very helpful. So this one was actually filmed October 11th to 14th of 66. Mm-hmm. So kind of around this time. But it was broadcast on December 12th. Beginning of the episode, Peter in the pad. He picks up the cake cover that's over their phone.
Yeah.
To answer it. And it's a call from our first monkey girl with a personality, Mrs. Buntwell. Miss Buntwell, she has no first name though, so I named her Bernadette.
Okay. Bernadette, like a Bernadette.
Yeah, Bernadette Buntwell is what I've named her. And she's the first monkey girl with a personality because she's not just the blonde object for Davy to date. She's kind of like she's like older, she's like late 30s. She's got like red hair and like a New York accent, and she smokes.
And she's a scammer.
She's a scammer. She's on Team Evil.
She has a goal besides boys.
Yeah. Her goal is money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she offers Peter the chance of a lifetime to have a free $12.98 dance lesson. And in today's money, that's $129.79 dance lesson. Okay. So that seems kind of expensive for dance lessons. But hey, I guess that's how the scam works. And the place that the lessons are at is called Ronaldo's Dance A Go-Go. So what is a go-go? Because they be saying a go-go.
I know. It's like a 60s term for like the club or a go-go. Like go-go club.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe go-go club comes from a go-go, but I don't know which came first, the go-go or the club.
It's weird because like in the modern day, go-go dancers describes like almost like a type of sex worker.
Well, no, go-go
where-
dancers are tend towards like strippers.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily, but that's where you find the strippers are now at the go-go. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess the go-go clubs are now the strip clubs.
Yeah.
But that wasn't always.
But in the day,
case.
it was not the case, as we
No.
see, because in this episode, everyone that goes to this go-go is an old
Well, that's
woman.
not a go-go. That's just
Well,
the name they're calling it. It's a dance studio. It's like
Yeah.
Arthur Miller Dance Studio
Yeah.
in our,
Okay. But they'd had
Coming
to
on
have
the
give it a
dance.
hip and groovy name.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get this free dance lesson, Peter has to answer a question.
This was the silliest thing. Like, why didn't she just give it to him?
Well, she has to make him feel like he earned it, I guess. But and the question
But
is,
it was Peter.
well, she doesn't know that. The question was, who was the 8th president of the United States? And because Peter is stupid, he obviously can't answer it. So like, she has to like feed him the answer piece by piece, and then when he finally gets it, he forgets his own name.
Yeah.
Because Peter is stupid.
In my notes, I wrote Peter being dumb, but he doesn't sound dumb. And then I wrote 2 slashes. They're all dumb. Never mind.
No, exactly. So yeah, all the Monkees are stupid.
Yeah.
But Peter is like toddler stupid.
Yeah.
But because he was the smartest one in real life, and they needed to shut him up.
He didn't sound dumb.
No, he
just
no, he's
sounded
like
tired.
Yeah. Bernadette's method here is actually kind of a common method that like scammers use IRL to identify victims, because if you ask really like easy like questions that you can see through as a scam, then you're only going to get the stupidest people caught in your net, and they kind of self-select out for like gullibility.
Right.
So she's running the scam playbook.
In case anybody wants to know, it's Martin Van Buren.
It is Martin. Yes, we forgot to mention the answer to the question.
Which I didn't know off the top of my head.
No, I
but-
didn't either. So
but
you wouldn't have
I
won.
wouldn't have won. But then after a while, I was like, oh, yeah, because Polk goes up against Van Buren.
Oh.
And I know
You
all
know-
about Polk
You know about James K. Polk because
I
of
know
They Might Be Giants
because
song.
They Might Be Giants sings a song about James K.
Yeah,
Polk.
I had to Google Martin Van Buren.
Yeah.
I forgot everything about AP US history.
Oh my god. We cannot start
We
talking
can't-
about
no.
Sharon Leahy's
We
AP
can't.
history
No, we
class.
can't.
We cannot go down that road.
No, no,
Where this
no.
podcast
We
will
don't
be
have-
6
Cut
hours
this out.
long.
We don't
Cut
have
this
that.
out.
Cut
We
this
don't have
out.
that kind of time.
Okay.
Cut this out.
Okay. Anyway, so Peter has won. And he's like, I'll be right down for my free lesson. And he like grabs his jacket and gets jump scared by the taxidermy monkey.
Yeah.
I didn't think that when he won, she meant it was like right now, but he was available apparently.
Yeah.
And also, she didn't tell him where it is, but
No.
he knows where to go.
Well, yeah.
So
I guess he could Google it or put it in his phone.
no, he just knows everything
He
because the
just-
shadow realm preloads their mind. with
I've
information.
noticed that from the 3 episodes I watched. Someone just tells them to go somewhere at some time, like, okay, and they show up there.
Yeah,
they're
and
like-
none of the like.
You know, they're like LA cab drivers.
There-
They just have the whole city memorized.
There is the logistic makes no sense.
No. So then Bernadette, with her bullet bra and gold lame pants and top, convinces Peter to sign a contract without reading it by being very, very horny and sexy. She calls him Tiger, and then he says, "Rrr," because he wants Ringo's lion nachos from when the Beatles did Shakespeare and Ringo played the lion.
Okay.
Rrr. So back at the pad, Peter is practicing his new dance with his floor feet stickers that you have when you learn to dance. Mike is like, Peter, did you sign anything at the dance school? And Peter's like, oh no, only this long contract, which he has in his own pocket. They didn't make.
Well, he makes a copy.
Okay, they gave him his own copy. Sure.
His own copy. But I would just want to comment that Mike is being the father of the group again.
Yes,
I'm
that's
like,
his job.
It's his job, and you can see it.
Yeah,
Like, you pointed it out, and I'm like, here he is taking charge.
He has to parent them,
Yes.
even though he himself is a child. So he takes this long roll of contract out of his jacket, and it appears to be like several sheets of construction paper taped together in a long scroll. And Mike's reading it, but he's just tracing his finger along the lines and like not following them with his eyes. He's very performatively fake reading it. And he's like, Peter, you got scammed again. And Peter's like, let's tear up the contract then. No court in the world would convict me. And then we get courtroom sketch, my beloved. This is one of my favorite Monkee cutaways. I just think it's so fun.
Well, Mike's the judge.
Yeah, Mike's the judge. Mike has glasses on in this scene.
And yes, which was very cute.
Yes.
But he keeps chewing on that wig.
No, he keeps chewing on the corner of the musty wig.
Which was like, I was just gagging.
No, I don't know what he was doing there. He was stimming, but like Why?
Why?
It had to taste like
It had to taste like wool.
yeah, like and mothballs and old actor sweat.
Oh, and I wanted to comment: the giant mallet is back.
Yeah, he keeps bonking Davy on the head with the mallet anytime he objects.
And
one of the times,
sometimes when he doesn't object,
yeah, one of the times he does it, he says, "Don't do that," which is one of the Monkee catchphrases, but one which is like so generic. It reminds me of "It's a Trap" from Star Wars, where it's just like an extremely generic sentence that anyone can say, but it becomes a catchphrase. Peter looks like a golden bowling ball in this episode. His hair is so round and shiny. And Micky's vocal choice in this scene, he must be doing someone, because he does this voice all the time. It's one of his more annoying ones. Yes. Where he like has like a lisp and is like, oh,
yeah,
and
it's
like
I think on another one in the 3 that we just watched, I think he does it again, and I meant to look up who that is, because I think it's somebody, but I don't know who it is.
Yeah, he has a couple of like generic stock goofy voices, but I have a feeling that they might be based on something. Yeah. They're like interrogating Peter about random questions, and Micky goes, "Do you or do you not recognize this man?" and holds up a picture of an actor, and Peter goes, "Is that a trick question?" And I was like, I don't recognize that man. Was it Dean Martin? That was my guess.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Okay.
It didn't register to me.
You know, the whole time the courtroom thing was happening, I was like,
what's going on?
You were confronted by your first Monkee fantasy sequence and you were stunned.
I was thinking about something else. Like my brain like preserved itself by making me think about something else.
It blocked you out from having to witness the monkeying around.
Yeah. I think I assumed it was the guy who was playing. No, okay.
It was like a famous actor.
All right, I missed it.
The imaginary court finds Peter guilty, so they can't just tear up the contract. This episode is like the first that aired out of the chunk of episodes they shot where Davy had very womanly Velma-like hair. End of season 2, Davy's hair is like so awful. So bad, and this isn't like the worst it gets, but this is the beginning. I can see the arc, and also the pants he's wearing in this episode make his thighs look so feminine. Micky goes to the Dance a Go-Go to try to get the contract fixed by fraudulently pretending to be Peter's lawyer,
right,
which I feel like would get you in more legal trouble than just tearing the contract up. But okay, and he says, "Hi, I'm George Michael Dolans," which is his real first and last name. So.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, he says, it's George Michael Dolans.
I didn't even catch that he said Dolans.
Yeah.
God, I must have been half asleep when I was watching.
It's okay. I was paying attention. He says that Peter is an eccentric playboy who has a rare disease which makes him sign contracts. And then Ronaldo, the owner of the dance school, tricks him into also signing the contract. Right. This is why you don't pretend to be a lawyer when you're not on TV shows.
I just want to point out that this is a trope that continues like to this day, but and it's not dance studio, but it was through the 90s. It was sign up for the gym membership. Like one person, one friend. So like on Friends, I think it was Chandler had the gym membership. So Ross goes down with him to cancel the gym, to get him out of the gym membership. And he signs up for the gym membership.
Is the modern equivalent going to be like a streaming service that you can't get out of?
Probably, because they do it on Seinfeld too. So it's like this is the gym membership of the 90s.
It's still gym memberships to this day. I feel like only like 20% of people that sign up actually go regularly. Right. So
yeah,
like
scams. I thought it was interesting that Micky was the one Monkee that they didn't try to like trick with the hot lady, because he's more susceptible to that than like the rest of them, other than maybe Davy.
Well, how did they even get him to sign up? Did they even explain?
Well, he literally went, "You're telling me if I sign this contract in this spot and this spot and this spot, then I'm going to be trapped in it." I
actually thought that was pretty silly. I'm like, that's a pretty silly way to get him to do it.
Calling their bluff.
Yeah, it was
okay. All right.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that episode of Always Sunny where Charlie pretends to practice bird law, and then the real lawyer shows up and is like, "Yeah, you don't know anything."
I had one note about like the head of the dance guy. One were veneers invented.
Girl, look at the teeth of the Monkees.
Yeah.
They have Peter and Mike's teeth are awful. I think it's interesting that they have Micky be the one that wasn't tricked by the woman in this, because like in real life, Micky was the most girl crazy one, but like on the show, they try to like none of them are the smart one, but they kind of try to give Micky like the like mad scientist experimenter, zany like wacky thinker one, you know.
Right.
And then try to give like the romantic plot lines to usually Davy.
Right.
So then Micky and Peter have both been tricked into contracts. They're dancing around the pad. Mike, direct to camera, goes, "Well, I see you can't send a boy to do a man's job, badge."
Right.
That's hilarious improv, Michael. Good job. Okay. Okay, and then this fucking scene. Okay, so this scene is burned into the back of my retina. This is the only time in the entire show where Mike kisses a woman on the mouth. Because normally they pretend to respect his marriage, so they don't like give him love interests on the show so much or make him take his clothes off so much as the others. But this time they didn't give a shit. Because he's in the dance studio with Bernadette in a mysterious side room with a couch. She's got the number feet on the floor. She goes 1, 2, 3, 4, sit and kiss, and then they like just keep making out, and he's like. He has his hand like on the back of her neck and on her back and stuff, and he's like way, way, way too into it. And every time I'm just imagining Phyllis Nesmith watching the episode on their tiny little TV, holding their stupid crying child that she has to take care of all day because Mike is off at the TV studio, going, "Hey, Mike, what the fuck?" And then they didn't let him do it anymore.
But then she gets him to sign the contract.
Yeah, by tricking him with her personality.
With her wily ways.
her big personality. So Davy is the last man standing, and he decides it's time to infiltrate the dance school from the inside. So he auditions to be a teacher there, the process of which is Ronaldo is like playing music and he keeps changing the song to different generic backing tracks, and Davy changes his dance to match it. Every single dance he's doing is just Mike Love from the Beach Boys going like...
I think that when he was doing it, there was no music for him.
And then it was added in post.
He was just literally just kept switching up dancing with no music whatsoever.
He didn't hear
there was nothing. They just told him to keep
just keep doing it.
Just keep switching dances. And then in post they put like some music to it, and sometimes it looked like he could have been dancing to that music, sometimes it didn't look like it at all. None of them were any kind of recognizable dance.
No, it was a terrible audition, but of course he gets the job. Immediately Ronaldo's like, "You're hired." And then Davy says, "Thank you, sir, but I've never taught dancing before." Davy, are you trying to fuck this up? You want to be hired here for your plan to work. Why would you say that? And then it cuts to Bernadette and an old woman with a dead fox on her. Yeah. And Bernadette is like, "Yes, all our teachers have 4 years experience." And she's like, winking to no one. Amazing acting. And then she tells the old lady, "Money isn't everything." But then Ronaldo says, "Money's everything. Pocket full of sunshine, busting through the seams. Hey, baby, don't lie. Money's everything." Addison Rae, she, much like the Monkees, is a manufactured image with no philosophies.
Yeah.
Hey, we are the Addison Rae. You know we love to please. But anyway, Ronaldo is like, "Money's everything. This is just a scam. We're not trying to teach anyone to dance. Your only goal is to bleed these biddies dry. Get all the old ladies to sign contracts." All right, so this is a scam that targets old ladies specifically once again.
Okay. I have in here right now that Martin Van Buren shows up. Is that?
Yes, I wrote multiple notes about Martin Van Buren.
Is that before this dancing?
No, that's coming up. That's my next note.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So then Martin Van Buren comes in, much like Mr. Clean. And Davy reacts in like shock. Davy, okay, we barely know who Martin Van Buren is. Why the fuck would a British person know who Martin Van Buren is enough to like be like, "Wow, he's here"?
Right, like he was president in like the 1830s.
I don't think Davy has heard this name before. So the rest of the Monkees come in for their dance lesson with respected dance teacher Davy, who has worked there for years, of course. And then Ronaldo leaves, so the Monkees are alone in the room. And Davy says, "Guys, he might come back. I have to actually teach you to dance." I don't know about that. I don't think that's true, but
I think Davy's just like a really good boy who takes any job he's given very seriously.
I have 9 different dances.
Oh boy, let's
that he taught them.
Yes. Okay. So he did manage to teach them many dances. But first, let's talk about the song to which they dance. This song, I'll Be Back Up on My Feet, was composed by Sandy Linzer and Denny Randell. And it was unreleased, this version of it was unreleased until 1990's Missing Links 2.
Okay.
But they released a different recording of it on The Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees. But the TV recording didn't come up till Missing Links. So the song was like basically not for sale. It was just in the show.
It was just in the show.
Yeah. And I wrote in big letters, racism montage.
I wrote ethnic dancing and then listed all of it.
Yeah, no, that's what I did. But before we go through them all, there's one that's really bad.
Yeah.
But before you go through them all, my overall note was that Mike did not or couldn't dance.
No, he didn't want to do that. He did not want to be there.
So every single time there was a dance, he would like barely participate.
Mike is so uncomfortable in his body, and you can tell.
He's just not participating.
Lukas, Daddy's song from Head, which is the song that Davy does with the switching between the black and white.
Yeah.
Originally, that song was intended for Mike. He really wanted to do it. And then they took it away from him and gave it to Davy because obviously Davy's the little Broadway song and dance man who could do that song so much better. Imagine Mike trying to do that choreography. He would look like a baby giraffe falling down the stairs. I would like to see it. Okay.
I'm seeing men get uncomfortable.
Yeah. Honestly, most of the ethnic dances technically falls under like cultural appreciation versus appropriation because they're learning the dances of these. But because it's the Monkees, because it's the 60s, because all of the things are based in stereotypes and not in research, it is still pretty offensive.
Yeah.
Right, because they're like, oh my god, how do you make this dance montage interesting? Different cultures.
Right. I don't know. The first one, though, is ventriloquist dummy-looking, like, vaudeville Dapper Dans.
Dapper Dans.
Yeah, Dapper Dans dancing
barbershop quartet.
It cuts to some archival footage of people doing the Charleston.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was a guy in the background waiting for his food to be done, like Jimmy Stewart. Like Jimmy Stewart and It's a Wonderful Life. We reference It's a Wonderful Life so much. We should do, like, a Christmas special where we just watch It's a Wonderful Life and they don't relate to the Monkees at all. We should explain that. Yeah. So there's... an alternate move that's part of the longer dance of the Charleston, apparently. And you can see this in It's a Wonderful Life when they're at the prom. Because Jimmy Stewart does this thing where he like crosses his knees. I can't do it sitting down. I'll put a video of it in the video version. Yeah. And that dance was so weird. How did we get on that joke? We were talking about...
It was when we've actually discussed this before. But
no, we discussed the knife truck. It was related.
Well,
we talked about Bernadette,
but we also talked about
different Bernadette,
waiting for your food to be ready,
right?
And at one point in time, someone asked, "What happens before microwaves? What did you do? How did you heat your food up?" And I said, "You put it in the oven and you heated it up there." And she said, "Well, didn't it take like 20 minutes?" And I said, "Yeah, it took like a while. You just waited for it." And she goes, "Well, what do you do when you wait?" And I was like, "I don't know. You just wait." And she goes, "Did you like dance or something?"
Did you do the
and that would be
because that's the old timey dance.
So now that's
the dance that you do while you're waiting for your food.
So now that is the dance you do when you're waiting for your food to heat up. Which makes perfect sense.
This podcast is not about the Monkees. This podcast is about explaining our in-jokes that nobody else cares about.
Also, the concept of like waiting being foreign to people after a certain age.
Yeah. Well, basically,
you couldn't go on your phone. You couldn't be on that damn phone.
This is literally my job: is to explain all the things that don't make sense to anybody who's 25 years old.
The next dance they do is Russian. They're
Arabian.
They're on a cliff with pirate swords and fur hats. How is that Arabian?
No, Russians didn't have pirate swords.
Yeah, those were
Arabians didn't have fur hats, did they?
I don't know, but they had the Arabian pants on, and they had the swords. I was going by the swords.
Okay.
So that was and then they showed the Arabians, did they?
They had some archival footage.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They do archival footage to
contextualize what the previous costume was supposed to be. They put in archival footage.
Third were matadors.
Yeah, matadors. They throw back in some matador stuff. Top Hats on the Stairs, which is a shot from the season 2 intro.
Okay, yeah. And I said, well, Mike, they were dancing sideways up the stairs. And Mike, this is again with Mike can't dance or whatever. They're going sideways up the stairs, and the camera's like following them up, and they're all looking down at the camera, and he just keeps looking down at his feet. He doesn't fall. Like the entire time, he's looking down at his feet.
Yeah, well, yeah. He was higher up from the ground than the rest of them. Yeah. Here I have a quote that I will read to you about the next one. One of the musical sequences features Mike doing a dance while Davy and Micky move long bamboo sticks close to the ground. Although the boys' performance is deliberately bad, such bamboo sticks are used in some real-life folk dances from several countries. The Monkees' tropical shirt suggests the particular inspiration for the scene was the tinikaling bamboo dance from the Philippines. Yes, I'm sure that's what it was.
Well, at first I was like, oh, it's Hawaiian because Davy is still wearing his Hawaiian shirt from a later dance sequence
in the same thing.
So apparently he didn't take his shirt off because he didn't have anything to go with this. But then they show like archival footage of like African tribal dancing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well that's just because they were, I
don't know.
I feel like also they filmed this in like 3 days. They're like, fuck it, keep your shirt on, get the sticks.
Get
the bamboo sticks.
Come on, yeah.
3 days, they did it in like 3 hours.
Yeah,
we have 30 minutes left of the studio rented.
We have 30 minutes left, and then you have to record 6 commercials for Kellogg's.
No, that's definitely it. I mean, because he still had his shirt on. Either he forgot to change or they didn't have a costume for him. I don't think they had costumes for this particular dance, and they all had the other costumes mixed up. It was bad. And that was also Mike's feet.
Oh god,
Mike's feet in the sticks. Like he's supposed to be, jumping
and
over
they
the
just
sticks.
Got him
and he literally is standing behind the sticks, just moving his feet like
He can't do it.
He wasn't even trying to do it.
Exactly.
He
also,
refused.
I feel like they just had like whatever they had in like the prop box in the
Exactly.
studio.
That's what they have every day. That's what
Absolutely. Whatever the props are, that's what we're looking at.
And then we got some kind of like Soviet Russian vests.
Mexican.
No. Where they're like holding a cloth.
Yes, I said European folk dancing.
Yeah, some
Spain,
type of
perhaps.
Lithuania.
Lithuanians wear like burlap and have like.
Well, if Lithuania. I wish there was a racist Lithuanian episode of the Monkees. We would have brought you on the hell.
I wish my people were that popular.
Alas.
But Mike, so I noted Mike's not even in that one.
No, he didn't want it. He was like, I'm done.
I'm gone.
He probably like stormed off set like an hour ago. Like, you guys want to keep making me do dances. I don't want to be here anymore.
That was probably the last one they did.
Yeah. The smoke break.
Well, Mike didn't smoke. Oh. Except weed, so maybe he did need a smoke break.
He went to smoke some weed.
Yeah. They have a Mexican hat dance where they just have like black t-shirts on under their Mexican clothes.
I said, I think they only have one sombrero and blanket, and they just
keep switching it between them.
Because all the shots of them are separate. So I'm like, they just kept putting the same thing on. And then showed them going like this.
See, they would do that, but I know for a fact they had 4 sombreros because there's a poster of them with the sombreros.
Well, why did they shoot them? Well, maybe they didn't get around to filming that one.
Yeah, maybe they weren't all together in the room at that point in the shooting
because they literally would just shot them individually.
Yeah. Then they do hula, which is very funny because it looks like they're making fun of Mike for the fact that he doesn't want to do it and he doesn't like doing it and is bad at it.
Yeah, I said they're making Mike dance.
He looks genuinely pissed off. He looks genuinely pissed off.
But that, at least the Hawaiian shirt made a little sense in that one. And
our final one, Native Americans. Again, they're just in like t-shirts and like kindergarten Thanksgiving headbands. That's not even like the full tribal chief headdress. No, they just have like it's not even properly offensive. They didn't even like try all the way.
And then you know what they were doing though?
It's a rain dance because they dump a bunch of fake snow on them.
They were doing a rain dance.
I thought that was his best.
Well, it was his best. Well, it was, yeah. Well, certainly it was.
I said they were dancing around a brush fire on the Wild West set.
Yeah.
Because if you look back, they were on like the set of the Wild West.
They have like 4 sets in the show.
Well, or they walked over to the Wild West set.
So after they're done with all these dances, Micky's like, are we going to do all that every lesson? And Davy's like, you must be joking. Do you know how much those sets and costumes cost? Yeah, like $1, it looks like.
like $2.50.
So like $25 in today's money.
Right.
And then Mike says, "This is a drag, a stone drag." And then Micky yells, "Wait!" And in the background, Mike like pulls his hat down like that. And Mickey's new idea is to go off set to talk with the writers.
And if you thought any of that was offensive,
Oh God!
wait till you get to the writers'
So
room.
it's actually this pretty fun shot where like the camera gets picked up handheld and he starts going through all the like lights and like crew people and cameras backstage to set. And he goes off this door on the side of the set, opens the door, and the writers' room is full of old Chinese men on typewriters,
which you would have been like called Chinamen. Like that's,
and that's what I saw.
Literally, what they would have been probably written into the script.
Yeah, that's probably what it said in the
Chinamen.
script. And one like 30, 40-year-old white guy in like caveman clothes in he looks like John Carter of Mars or something.
Who he was? He had a whip. He was like the slave master.
Yeah. He was there.
He was there to whip them into shape to do. That's what he was there.
He was holding a whip.
He was like the
scene.
slave master.
Oh my God! Who wrote this one? Bernie, you're back. Bernie, you're on my shit list now. Bernie, you're with Gerald and Dee on this shit list. Because we really know that that writing room was full of Bernie, Gerald, and Dee and all their little...
So they were saying that they were like slaves to the...
But why were they Chinese? When you get to the Monkees writers' room, it's all good. I just didn't think it would be Chinese.
I don't know, because I know like when they were building the railroads, they used a lot of like Chinese labor for that because like they couldn't get like regular jobs.
I guess they're just saying it's cheap labor.
Yeah,
they're saying the Monkee show is cheap labor.
Yeah, maybe that's
and it's like a sweatshop in there.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's what they were going with. They went a step too far.
They took it a little.
With the slave
with the slavery. But whatever idea they came up with wasn't even worth it because Micky just reads it and throws it over his shoulder.
Which I feel like it makes the overpaid joke a little funnier because it's like, are they getting paid?
Yeah. So then Davy reads an ad in the paper that the Dance-A-Go-Go is having an open house tomorrow. So it's going to be loaded all day with suckers. And Peter pulls out a large lollipop and he says, "All day suckers. All day."
Okay.
And then Micky says, little joke about that big." And then Davy shakes his head and audibly goes, "No." Which I think is very funny. And Peter looks so sad when he's licking his lollipop because nobody liked his joke.
I liked his joke. And he didn't want to actually put his tongue on that lollipop.
No.
He was like...
It was probably from the prop box. Yes. It was dusty.
He had to pick the hair off it.
Yeah. So it's a scene in the dance school office with Davy, Mike, and Bernadette. And it looks like Mike is like trying really hard not to look at her. Did Phyllis see the dailies yesterday or something? So Bernadette tries to leave the room to scam people, and Davy's like, "No, Mike has something important to tell you." And what Mike has important to tell her is sexual harassment. Yes. He chases her around the office, professing his love for her. And I said, "Girl, Lucky, get out of here. Appreciate what you have, okay?"
I wrote rape with cartoon noises.
I said cartoon noises. I said and music like
yeah. And he's chasing her down around the office. He's like 2 feet taller than her.
Sexual harassment by cartoon noise.
Davy's like trying to drive the old lady applicants away so that they won't get scammed. So he'll like say something good about the school and then have Micky and Peter in Shadow Realm costumes come in to contradict it.
But before that, when he first walks in and he tries to get all their attention, the old ladies are making general mumbling noises, and one goes, "Oh, isn't he cute?"
real old lady reaction captured on camera. He's like, "Oh, we're always so kind to we never sexually harass our applicants." And then Micky comes in sexually harassing Peter in drag.
Yes.
This is the second and last time in the show that Peter is in drag.
Okay.
He looks like he's kind of wearing his same outfit from when he was in drag in Monkey vs. Machine, but this time his wig is like really like wet rat looking.
And it's kind of crooked.
Yeah.
It wasn't on.
Well, they just slipped out of the Shadow Realm.
And he's getting yelled at for being a bad dancer. I think you said that.
Yeah. And then to show that the dances that they always teach the hot new dances, they come in as cavemen who don't know the hot new dances. which I'm sure all these old women were really worried about knowing the hot new dances. And when I say old women, like they're like grandmas. It's like a
Well, but here's the funny thing: they're probably in their 50s.
Yeah.
They're probably my age.
Yeah, they just. But like all of them look like John Waters characters, or they all have like weird colored hair and weird colored glasses and weird colored makeup.
Yeah, yeah.
We got back to Mike sexually harassing Bernadette. He says, "I can't sleep at night. I can't eat. I can't drink." And she's like, "Why not?" And he goes, "Because I don't have no money." Me too.
Oh wait, before you move on,
Okay.
I wrote body T for Bernadette, and let's appreciate she jumped off the desk
Yes!
in heels.
Yay!
She jumped
Yes!
off the desk in heels. Let's talk
I
about
watched
that.
it. I watched it like 3 times. I'm like, is that really her jumping off of that desk?
The athleticism.
Or was that
Bernadette.
like a double? I don't know.
Still, that was
probably her. You think they could afford a double?
No, I know, but what possessed her to jump off of that desk with heels on?
When a 6'2" Texan has you cornered, you gotta escape.
She could have beat his ass.
She could have.
He's 130 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
No athletic ability.
Just dig those acrylics into him. Yeah. Snatch the hat off. It stores all his power. Anyway, shout out to Karen Arthur, the actress who played Miss Buntwell, aka
I literally
Bernadette.
couldn't hear how they were pronouncing her name because they said that so fast on my notes. She's like Miss Booty Butt. That's like what I heard.
Bernadette Booty Butt.
Bernadette Booty Butt.
Her body is T.
Her body's so T.
But I do think they could have given her like some better shapewear because her fupa and the way the pants cinch on her is not the best. It's not the best.
I didn't even notice.
Okay, I'm sorry that that I criticize the bodies of other women and you appreciate them fully. Oh, okay. So before we get into this, I would just like to. Part of the reason that I've been unable thus far to convince Lukas to watch the Monkees is because to me, the Monkees is a show about attractive men, and to Lukas, the Monkees is not a show about attractive men.
None of them are attractive to me.
No. Lukas, you kept saying to me that you want to come do the racist Mexico episode because you think it's going to be full of buff Latino trade.
Yeah.
But it's going to be what it's going to be full of is Italian Americans and brownface. However,
flipping to my notes about episode 16.
However, in this episode, Ronaldo comes in and he says, "Get the dancing smoothies ready. It's an emergency." Cut to the dancing smoothies. Would you like to tell us about the dancing smoothies?
So the dancing smoothies is 4 sexy 5'8" Latinos who are well groomed.
Some of them are really Latino, I feel like. Let's look at their names.
They have beautiful faces. They have facial hair.
Oh, this one was named Derek Lewis. That doesn't sound Latino.
Never mind. In my notes, I just wrote smoothies with a tongue out. And also, this is another montage, so my brain stopped working. I started zoning out. Like, I started, focusing on other things in my room.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the smoothies, much like the Monkees, are kind of like another polycule to me, because they're all wearing the same outfit. The way they just keep them locked in the back room for an emergency.
We were texting about this.
Yeah.
The concept of keeping four people locked in your dance studio in a back room.
And they're always smiling and ready to go with
I think they were supposed to be coming out.
Okay, but why do they even have competent dancers at the school if they're just a scam?
Well,
why does anything in this show happen?
Why does anything in this show happen? Can I just, before we get too far into it, I have a couple things. Mm-hmm. They had 20 extras, and they kept walking out of the whenever
they kept some of the old ladies got
they kept leaving, and then they'd go back and they'd be back in the shot.
Yeah.
And so there was only 20 of them. They just kept cycling around, and then when they call for the dancing smoothies, and the boys have to come up with a plan. They start talking to each other, and you very clearly hear rhubarb.
Yeah, no, they literally go rhubarb, rhubarb, rhubarb.
But that's all you hear is rhubarb.
Yeah,
rhubarb,
they don't
they don't even try to make it not sound like rhubarb.
So the Monkees go into the room where the smoothies are, and Davy immediately starts feeling one up. Davy, I know what you are. And then the Monkees all fucking pull guns on the dancing smoothies and take their clothes and somehow their mustaches, because they then appear in the doorway as the dancing smoothies with mustaches.
Well, they drew them on.
Well, they were like hair. They were like hair prosthetics. So
Oh,
in
okay.
fact, they dropped out of the shadow realm. And it's I'm a Believer again.
Yes.
We got a real stretch of I'm a Believer going here now. I think it was just like whatever single release that month. They were like, put it in every episode, boost it. But it makes it real tedious to watch week to week.
I just wrote Shrek. I remember I texted Sommer, I'm like, wait, I'm a Believer is from the Monkees? Because I thought it was from Shrek.
Micky makes a note of that in his concert. When we went to go see Micky, he was like, do any of these any kids here? Well, I did this song way before Shrek.
Yes, it is his song.
Yeah.
I wrote the secretary, Bernadette was like doing ballet, or she was dancing around.
They cut to her doing some arm stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun fact. There's on IMDb. It says that one of the old women extras in the scene is Bette Nesmith Graham, Mike's mom.
Oh, cute.
That's not true.
Oh,
that's not true. There's a red. IMDb is wrong and I'm right. There's a redheaded lady that dances with Mike, and Bette did have like dyed red hair like that. But like the way it's like on IMDb, it's like one of the extras is rumored to be Bette Nesmith, but Mike denies this. But in the tone where it's implying that it's another one of Mike's lies, where he compulsively lies in interviews. But like I looked at it and I looked at her face, and it's not her. So I don't know where that rumor got started. So then in the middle of this dance montage, the Dancing Smoothies show up in long underwear and loose snapped ropes. How we feeling, Lukas?
For this part, I wrote in my notes, smoothies and long johns, and I drew another tongue sticking out. So that was enjoyable to me. But then immediately after, the episode began glitching during the montage.
Yeah, it was glitching.
Yeah, the totally official and legal place that we watch the Monkees in, which I will not name because I don't want it to get taken down, is some sort of like HD remaster scan of the show, except the file for this specific episode is corrupted in this spot in the middle of this montage.
Yeah.
So it's super glitchy.
Somebody's small dog is there.
There's a puppy,
and they're dance. Everybody's dancing with the puppy.
I bet somebody just had their dog on set that day, and they were like, "Let's put the puppy in the show."
I think so. During the glitch, there was a beach ball being knocked around. I noticed it, though. You could just see it above the glitch.
So the Monkees somehow convinced the old ladies to like skip in a circle around Ronaldo and the Smoothies, and then they tie them up with their own banner, which means they are defeated.
Yes.
Which is like, what do the Smoothies do? Like, I'm sure they're getting scammed too. Like, I'm not.
Well, there's like when you keep your Latin lovers in the back room for whenever you might need them, for whatever emergency you may need them for, is what they're for. I don't know. The Monkees then bust into Ronaldo's office, excited to dance, but he's like, "No, get out of here, you punks!" Because he hates them for destroying his scam, and he doesn't want to be around them anymore. But they're like, you have us in these lifetime contracts, so we're going to bother you your whole life unless you tear them up, and also all the other ones. Then we'll leave you alone. And he's like, "Yeah, fine, whatever." Okay,
it didn't make any sense.
He would not agree to that.
No, but he does.
In this scene, you can see that Mike is wearing like a chain. I went on an investigation one time to discover what this chain was. And what it was that Bert Schneider, who was the producer, had given all of the Monkees like these like matching necklaces that had like a Star of David on one side and a St. Christopher's medal on the other side, which is like some type of like Christian symbol that means that you are protected during travel. So their planes wouldn't crash. And you can see all of them wearing it throughout different points, but like this is the only time that you can see that Mike has it on because he's so buttoned up.
They're ripping up the contracts, and he convinces them. So they go over the file cabinet and they're ripping up all the contracts. And Davy
punches Micky in the face. Yeah, and they just kept it in.
So and then it just ends.
It's not. It doesn't have a nice song at the end. It doesn't have a 1 minute short. Here we come. Did the picture of Davy on the orange background, and you're like, "Oh, okay.
Okay, we're done."
Oh, okay. What happened to Bernadette? I hope Bernadette and the Smoothies
danced
to have a romantic vacation together.
Started their own dance studio. Started scamming senior citizens somewhere in Mexico.
And she invented a really good dance where you have to jump off of a block or a table in heels. Because she deserves it. All right, I feel like that's going to do it for this episode.
We got it.
Thank you, everybody, and Monkee out. We hope you enjoyed that episode of the Monkees Pod. You can follow us on Instagram and the website formerly known as Twitter, @MonkeesPod. If you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, then it is currently my 25th birthday. Ask me, how does it feel? I said, ask me, how does it feel? I'll tell you how it feels. I don't like it. That's how it feels. I don't like surprises. I don't like these people jumping out and saying, I don't even want to hear what you're saying. Because you know what you're saying to me? You're saying happy birthday, and you're jumping out of the wall, and it's scaring me to death, and it's some kind of big joke, and I'm supposed to be happy about that. Oh, come on, Mike, be a good sport. Well, who needs it? Who needs surprises and pajamas? You want me to come to a party, you don't kidnap me, you send me an invitation. Besides, I may have been happier where I was, sleeping. Happy birthday, huh? And I'll tell you something else, too. The same thing goes for Christmas. Thank you. If you hear any background noise of New York, it's because I'm on my roof because I didn't want my roommates to hear me screaming at myself in a Texas accent. Bye.